And now in a beautiful light heavyweight fight, we got Marcin Prachnio and Isaac Villanueva. I like to call him Ike, so I'm going to go with that. Prachnio is one of those fighters who's 0-3 and then goes and beats up Khalil Roundtree. I was really impressed with that fight in the first 1.5 parts of those rounds, but after that I really felt like Prachnio was fading. He was taking big shots, and to be honest, it was like if Roundtree still had the power that he usually does in the first round, or maybe even a bit later into the second, I just think that fight could have gone a bit differently for Khalil, but Prachnio did enough to win that first round big time, and he just kept pouring it on. Now, with keeping your hands down and trying to, finish so hard or, throw with so much power early in a fight, I mean, those kicks were just so heavy, right? Bring in a guy like Isaac Villanueva to really show you how much, durability can change that. I think he needs to also keep his hands up in a big way, but his career is very interesting to look at. He's had a heavyweight bout in the UFC. He looks way healthier than when he started last year. I really think that Ike's looking way healthier. The Jordan Wright loss probably set things a bit more in motion for him. But when you think about the swanging and banging that he pulled off against Moreira, that was where I felt like he looked his healthiest. He looked his most confident. And the way he was moving in and out, the feints were there. The jab was there. He was looking like a really good MMA boxer. And I think in this fight, if he can get by the kicks, even if he can't, after the first round, things will open up. So Ike really needs to be aware of his surroundings in that first round. Avoid any of those big kicks that can slow him down, especially to the legs. Prachnio loves the leg kicks. He's going to throw a bunch. And if he can slow Ike down, this could be a very similar fight to the Roundtree fight. You're going to have a guy who maybe doesn't have enough gas or power in his punches. He's probably going to land pretty big on Prachnio, but will he have enough gas and power to carry over into those last few rounds if Prachnio's like constantly beating the legs and beating the body in for the first half of the fight? So that's the interesting part about this one. I think that it's relatively close only based on who has more success in the first round. Both guys are going to get a little tired, I think, after that first, depending on how much damage they take. But Prachnio was massively, doing so well in that first round against Khalil Roundtree, but he still looked pretty beat up in that second and third round. So for me, I really think Ike has huge opportunities here in that boxing range. He can get by the kicks, especially late, steal the second and third rounds, whether it's for a victory or a finish. That really should be his key to victory. But then you talk about Prachnio, it's like, slow the pace down. I think that you're going to have a guy who's going to push forward constantly. He's going to be throwing those feints. He's going to be trying to land big with those huge hooks, right? Balance that. I think that there's a way for Prachnio to be able to look like the same fighter in the first and in the third, and it's just don't throw with so much volume. I think that you open the door to being finished by, really good fighters later in the fight, especially when they're so durable. Isaac Villanueva has been knocked out a couple times in the UFC, but the way I see this one is that if he's able to do damage early, then he's going to slow Ike down and can do whatever he wants if it's for 3 rounds. But on the flip side, if he's getting reckless and throwing with too much power and Ike's just eating these shots and pushing forward, I'm sorry to say, but it's really tough to see the type of fighter that Ike is just absolutely, faltering with that kind of pressure, especially when Prachnio's starting to keep his hands down. He's starting to throw it a little wild. He's starting to move his head a little bit slower. That's a very interesting fight to watch as it progresses. And if it hits that second and third round, I think it's really anybody's fight. So let's take a look at the lines. I'm hoping they're pretty much, Prachnio's the guy that you need to watch in this fight, especially early. He is so dominant, but the guy lost 3 straight before the Khalil Roundtree fight for obvious reasons. I think that he's such a good kickboxer, but the guy hasn't attempted a takedown in his entire UFC career. Like, there's a reason for that. 0% takedown defense, 0% takedown accuracy. Got taken down once, I believe, and other than that, it's just been stand-up battles with everybody. That's exactly what Ike wants. So the way I see it is you're going to have a technical vibe. You're going to have a kickboxing vibe. Very sound technique coming from Marcin, but Ike's a brawler, and he can box very well. And if he keeps those hands up and doesn't take much damage in that first, it's going to be a very close fight, which is why I am surprised that Prachnio is already coming in as a -193 opener with a -210 in some places, with Villanueva coming in as a +168 opener with a plus 165 to plus 170 type of current line. Some places even lowering it to plus 150. So I think that's a little bit of a closer fight than the line suggests. I think they do believe that Prachnio's going to be able to go harder for longer. That's my assumption here with thinking like Vegas. But again, puncher's chance, brawler's chance. It's just really tough to see Ike just faltering under that pressure. So great fight to watch. It's going to be hella exciting.